Welcome back to another quick review. I am on spring break, and so I decided to do a review on a form of media that I haven't done a review on before. Today we are doing a book review. Specifically, we are talking about The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Now, um, I do kind of want to explain kind of what led me to reading this book in the first place. I am currently in college. I'm an English major. I want to go into creative writing. That's the goal. That's been my goal for since middle school. I think I've been writing since before then, but that's been my goal. That's the idea has been my goal since middle school. Um, and I, because of a variety of things with COVID and a couple other things, I kind of lost my love for reading back at the elementary school, early middle school. I adored reading. I loved it so much. And then I kind of lost my love for that. And before going to college, this is my freshman year. Before going to college, I kind of been looking for an excuse to get back to reading different books. I tried reading and could never really get into them for one reason or another. Either they were like a bit too much for like an introduction back in, or I just wasn't interested in the story. So I kind of, and then my first semester started, and I had a professor tell me that if you want to be a creative writer, you gotta read. You gotta make sure you read books. And I kind of took that advice to heart. And so basically, throughout schooling, TikTok, and a variety of other things, I put a whole bunch of different series on a wheel, spun it, and whatever it landed on was what I would read. And that's how we ended up reading The Way of Kings, book one of the Stormlight Archive. And let me just say, I genuinely believe that this is like the most invested I've been in a story ever. Right? I it definitely took for me at least a little. It took a little bit for me to get into it, and for it to kind of capture me. I think even then for my standards, I'm usually like from the first like couple of pages or first couple of hours of a video game or first couple of minutes of a movie, it has to get me. But this wasn't the case. It was like still like maybe page 100 that was like, okay, I kind of into this. But you know, it it took a little bit for me to get into it. But once I got into it, barring life stuff, I was constantly thinking about the book, and constantly going back and you know going to read, which was fun, which is a great feeling to have after so long of not reading. It's been like maybe 8 9 years after so long. It's less than that. This after so long of not reading to finally go back and you know read again. And there's some books that you go back to, like you start reading that are a bit more difficult than others. Like I remember back when Dune Part Two came out, I was like, oh, here's how I could get back into reading. I could read Dune, and if it's difficult, at least I know where I am because I've seen the movies, and it should be easy to follow along. I was definitely right in that front, but I still didn't finish it because it's still relatively difficult for me even. But even then, I feel like the writing in this book wasn't difficult to read while still being very cohesive, and the storytelling still being very not. I'm tripping on my words. Being really good, the storytelling being really good. Um, it was very easy to picture everything that Sanderson was describing. Uh, the characters are just phenomenal. Kaladin is my go. I'll get to him in a moment. The world that he has set up, and I'm fully aware that this book is set up. The world that he has set up is just so intriguing, and I really want to get back into it and get into it more. Um, yeah, just like even though it took me 2 months, a little over 2 months, because life stuff and the second semester started back up. Even though it took me about 2 months to get this book done, um, and over the duration of 1,001 pages, it didn't feel like that. It felt shorter. And there's certain times, especially towards the end, like the second half of the book, like the last 500 pages of that book, I start schmoving. I'd get through like 100 pages of that book in like maybe 2 3 days. It was crazy, just because I was enjoying myself so much. Now, I want to talk about one of the reasons why I was enjoying myself so much, and that's specifically the characters. And I really like how this is told, multiple different characters and different perspectives that all branch together or are going to branch together in the future. Um, and some of these characters ended up being, characters that I really want to see more of. Like I don't mind the pronunciation of a lot of these characters' names. I read 1,000 some pages, but I don't know the proper pronunciation. I'm just going off of what I said the entirety of the series, so just ignore me, right? But I think my least favorite POV was Shallan's POV, and her POV wasn't bad by any means. I still really liked it. All things considered, I actually really enjoyed myself. And every time her POV popped up, I was like, oh, I'm invested. I'm interested. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And her POV got really good. Got really good. The thing is that when you're comparing her POV I think the two other main POVs of this book, excluding Seth and the interludes and whatnot, the two other main POVs in this book were Dalinar, who is phenomenal. His POV is phenomenal. His POV is so good. His story is so good, especially toward that second half. I think going into part 4, especially, it's so good. It's so interesting to read. It's so interesting learning about going into the political aspects of this world. Is so nice. And then of course you get Kaladin's POV, and when you compare it to those two, it's like, yeah, this obviously isn't as good as those, but it's still really good. Kaladin's POV specifically would have these slow, for me at least, would have each chapter would have the slowest starts, and then you get halfway through this chapter, and you're like, whoa, 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 what in the world is going on? There's a lot happening. Yeah, especially towards the end, it was like that a lot. Kaladin in one book has actively become one of my favorite fictional characters. I don't know how to explain it. You ask me, oh yeah, who are your favorite characters in fiction? My mind goes to Reen Schwarzer from Trails, Neo from The Matrix, Nightwing from DC Comics, Terra from Final Fantasy VI, and Kaladin. Those are the first 5 characters that come to my mind. Kaladin just, I don't know, left an impression on me. I absolutely adored his arc, what he does at the end, and just everything about Kaladin I think is phenomenal, right? And some other characters are really good too, that still have I would say have the chapters stole from their perspectives, but not as big of perspectives as those 3, but still have those moments that are really good. Adeline, Navani, Rock, Teft, Yasna, whatever. Just phenomenal characters in their own right. And it's crazy that just about every single character I enjoyed, even the characters that are meant to be douchey and unlikable, they weren't bad characters by any means. There are characters that I was like, okay, I could as I didn't hate reading them. Reading it is what I'm saying. I wasn't bored reading any of these POVs. The interludes specifically, I'm not sure how to feel about those, just because I don't know. They kind of just felt like they came out of nowhere, and I get that they might be setting up for something in the future. Other than Seth, ignore his interludes. His interludes really good. They might be setting up for something in the future. I'm not sure, and so I just I'm not sure how to feel about that. I had to get back to you when I read the future books. But yeah, overall, because we're getting relatively long for a quick review, overall, I really enjoyed this book. It's a 10 out of 10. There truthfully there isn't anything wrong with it, right? Once again, I can't comment on the interludes because I don't know what happens with those characters in the future. I just finished the first book this morning. It's 4 p.m. I forgot to mention one more thing. I was probably gonna cut this in somewhere into the video. One thing I absolutely adored about this book as well is towards the last 100 pages. I think the community calls it Sanderlanche or something, like a Sanderson avalanche. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Where it's just everything just kind of unfolds, and it's just a snowball effect, an avalanche in the sense of just different things happening. Especially part 5. Like you get to like the page 900 to 950, and it's like this huge epic battle that switches back and forth between Kaladin and Dalinar at Adeline's POV, which was so cool. Seeing them switch back and forth between those POVs and then them meeting for the first time was awesome. And then you get to part 5, and it's just reveal after reveal after reveal after reveal after reveal. Especially on Shallan's part, it's so good. It was so good. It was so insane. That's why I really loved about I really loved that aspect of the last couple 100 pages. It just set up it paid off. It set up a whole bunch of different things, and I'm very excited to see where that goes. Anyway, back to the video. But overall, I loved it. I have the other day. I have Words of Radiance and Oathbringer sitting on my desk on my drawer right now. I got them the other day, $60 by the way. And I'm gonna probably get into one of them either tonight or early tomorrow morning. And I cannot wait to hop back in. The last time I felt like this towards a series was Trails, and I have made a variety of Trails videos on this channel, meaning quick reviews and rankings. I've talked about Trails a bunch. We all know how much I love and adore what I feel about Trails, how that series kind of saved my life. Same thing with Final Fantasy, but Trails as well. And it's giving me that feeling. And if it's like this, book 1, I cannot wait to see where the story goes. Thank you for watching. I'll be back soon. See ya. Bye.